Hello, my name is Courtney Caudell, and this is the axal skeleton. This is the frontal bone. This is the parietal bone. This is the occipital bone. Within the occipital bone is the external occipital protuberance. This is to secure the ligament noche. Then you have the temporal bone right here, which has the temporal mandibular joint, the mastoid process, the styloid process, the external acoustic meatus, and the squamose part. Then you have the sphenoid bone, and then in here you have the ethmoid bone. Get into the internal view, which you have the temporal bone, which this part is called the petrous part, which houses the middle and internal ear cavities. Then you have the internal acoustic meatus, which cranial nerves 7 and 8 pass through. Then you have sphenoid bone, which has the lesser and then the greater. And then you have the optic canal, which the optic nerve passes through. And then you have the ethmoid bone, which has the crista galli, which attaches to the dura mater, and then the cybriform plate. Then for sutures, you have the coronal suture, which is connected to the parietal and the frontal bone. You have the sagittal suture, which connects both of the parietal bones. You have the rhomboid suture, which connects the parietal and the occipital. And then the squamose suture, which connects the parietal and the temporal. For the facial bones, we have the maxilla and the alveolar processes. We have the nasal bone. We have the zygomatic bone. And the two bones that form the zygomatic arch are the squamose part and the zygomatic process. You have the ethmoid bone inside here. You have the vomer down here. And the two bones that form the bony nasal septum are the vomer and the ethmoid bone. And then you have, for the mandible, you have the body, you have the angle, you have the ramos, you have the mandibular condyle, and then the mandibular notch, and then the coronoid process. For the vertebral column, you have the cervical vertebrae, which there are 7. You have the atlas, which connects to the interior of the head and allows you to rotate your head. Then you have the thoracic vertebrae, which there are 12. You have the spinous process, the transverse process, the body, and the intervertebral discs are between each one. Then you have the lumbar down here, which there are 5 of. Then you have the sacrum, and there are 5 bones fused here. And then you have the sternum, you have the manubrium, the body, you have the xiphoid process, and then the jugular notch. And then moving on to the ribs, you have 7 true, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you have 4 false, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.